It's after dark in Egypt, and every family in the country is about to face the same night, but not the same fate. Somewhere in the palace, Pharaoh's firstborn son is asleep, safe as far as anyone knows. And across town, in the slave quarter, a Hebrew father is doing something that makes no sense at all. He's taking a bowl of blood and painting it across the top and down both sides of his front door. His hands are shaking, his children are watching, and he is betting their lives on it. Because at midnight, death itself is going to move through this land. It will step into every single house in Egypt, except the ones marked by blood. Tonight, the only thing standing between a family and the grave is a smear of red on a wooden door. This is the night that gave us the word Passover, and it's the night the whole Bible has been quietly building toward. Let's back up. For 9 straight plagues, God has been taking apart Egypt and everything it worshipped. 9 times Pharaoh has watched his kingdom fall to pieces, and 9 times he has dug in and said no. So God announces the last one, the 10th, and this one is not like the others. About midnight, I will go out in the midst of Egypt, and every firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. Every firstborn, from the palace to the lowest prison cell. And here's the part we usually rush right past. This plague was not only aimed at Egypt. Death was coming for every house in the land that night, and that included the homes of God's own people. The Israelites were not automatically safe. So God does something none of the other 9 plagues required. He gives his people a way to be covered. He tells them in exact detail what to do to live through the night. And the instructions are strangely specific.
On the 10th day of the month, every family is to bring a lamb into their home. Not just any lamb, a year-old male with no defect, no blemish, nothing wrong with it at all. And they don't kill it right away. They keep it for 4 days. They live with it. They watch it, long enough to know it's perfect, long enough for the children to give it a name. And then, on the 14th day, at twilight, they kill it. Sit with how heavy that is. This was not a faceless ritual. It was a real animal, brought into a real home, cared for, and then given up. Something innocent had to die, and its blood was about to matter more than anything those people had ever done or failed to do. And you might be wondering, why blood at all? Why not a prayer, a password, a promise to do better? Because all through the Bible, blood means one thing: a life. To shed blood is to give up a life. God was teaching his people something they could never unlearn, that rescue from death is never free. It costs a life. The only question the whole story leaves open is whose. Here's what God tells them to do with that blood. The blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and no plague will befall you to destroy you. Take the blood and put it on the doorframe, across the top and down both sides. And when death moves through Egypt that night, it will reach that door, see the blood, and pass over. Read that line again slowly, because it's the entire point. When I see the blood. Not when I see how good you've been, not when I see how much you deserve to live. When I see the blood. What protected them was never their record. It was the sign of a life given in their place.
Then God tells them how to spend the night. They're to roast the lamb and eat it, with bitter herbs, to remember the bitterness of slavery, and with bread made without yeast, because there won't be time to let it rise. And they eat it ready to leave. In this manner you shall eat it, with your belt fastened, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. Belt on, sandals on, staff in hand. Picture that. A whole nation eating dinner dressed to walk out the door. They don't know the exact hour, but they know rescue is finally coming, and they intend to be ready the second it does. And then, at midnight, it happens. A cry goes up across Egypt like nothing anyone has ever heard, because there is not a single house without someone dead. And Pharaoh, the man who said no 9 times, finally breaks in the dark and says the word Israel has waited 400 years to hear. Go. Now here's what we have to be honest about, because it's the hinge of the whole story. The Israelites were not spared that night because they were better people than the Egyptians. They weren't. They were slaves, sinners, and complainers, the same broken human beings as everyone else. If God had gone house to house judging people by how good they were, no amount of blood on the door would have been needed. But look at what actually happened. Death came to every home that night, every single one. The only question was who died. In the Egyptian homes,
it was the firstborn son. In the homes covered by blood, it was the lamb. Someone died in every house. In one, the son. In the other, a substitute standing in the son's place. That's the word that unlocks Passover. Substitution. An innocent life given up so that a guilty one could walk away free.
And there's one more detail we can't skip. The blood didn't work by simply existing. It had to be applied. God never said, as long as you own a lamb, you'll be fine. He said, put the blood on the door. A family could believe every word Moses spoke, agree with all of it, be deeply moved by it, and still lose their firstborn if the blood never actually made it onto the doorframe. Knowing about the lamb was not enough. The blood had to be personally put where death would see it. And picture the shape of it one more time. Blood over the top of the door and down both sides. Centuries later, another sign would be made of wood and blood, marked at the top and along the arms. It's almost as if from the very beginning, God was sketching a picture no one could fully read yet. Because that is exactly where this is going. Fast forward more than 1,000 years, a man named John sees Jesus walking toward him and says a very strange thing. Behold, the Lamb of God, who takes away the sin of the world. The Lamb. And it is no accident that Jesus was arrested, tried, and killed during the Passover festival, the very week Jerusalem was killing lambs for this exact meal. He was the lamb without blemish, examined by his accusers and found innocent. When he died, the soldiers didn't break a single one of his bones, just as God had commanded about the Passover lamb more than 1,000 years before. The New Testament says it as plainly as it can. For Christ, our Passover lamb, has been sacrificed. Every Passover for over 1,000 years had been a rehearsal. The lamb, the blood, the death passing over. All of it was pointing forward to the night God's own Son would become the final lamb, so that death would pass over everyone covered by his blood. So here's the question this story puts to you, and it's not the one you'd expect. It isn't, do you know about the blood? Almost everyone watching this knows the story. The real question is the blood on your door? Because in Egypt that night, being near the lamb saved no one. Admiring the lamb saved no one. Only the blood, personally applied to your own house, kept death on the outside. You can grow up surrounded by all of this. You can know every word of it, respect it, be moved by it, even defend it, and still have never once taken shelter under the lamb for yourself. The blood on the door isn't inherited, and it isn't admired from a distance. It's applied. And notice how they ate that meal, dressed, packed, sandals on, ready to move. Being covered by the blood was never meant to leave you sitting still in Egypt. It sets you free to walk out. Redemption isn't only protection from death, it's the start of a whole new journey out of slavery. So here's the whole thing in one line. The door death couldn't enter was the one marked by the blood of the lamb, and that lamb was always pointing to Jesus. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. That's the oldest good news in the world. Death is real, judgment is real, but God himself provided the substitute, and everyone sheltered under the blood of the lamb is passed over, not because of what they've done, but because of what the lamb has done for them. But Israel isn't free yet. They walk out of Egypt that very night, straight toward a dead end, with the Red Sea in front of them and Pharaoh's army thundering up behind. That's where we're going next. If this opened your eyes to what Passover was really about, subscribe and come with us to the edge of the sea.